Happy Indie Bookstore Day. It is officially one of my favorite days of the year. It is 9:05 on Saturday, April 29th, and Emily will be here in like 10 minutes at this point. So I need to put my socks on and be ready to get out the door. It is a chance of rain today, or there is a chance of rain today, I should say. So I have packed some rain boots just in case, as well as an umbrella and my jacket. I've got bags for books. I've got a bag of just like miscellaneous things, and we have an itinerary that basically takes us from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today, with breaks for lunch, obviously, in which we are going to try to hit 15 independent bookstores today in Chicago, because it is the Indie Bookstore Day crawl in Chicago, where if you go to 10 bookstores, you get 10% off of all participating bookstores for the year. If you hit 15, you get 15% off. And last year, we did complete the 10, so clearly we decided we need more of a challenge, but really we just want to go to more bookstores. This year, we are not going to Evanston like we did last year, so we will be going to a different variety of stores, and I didn't really take us along for the ride last year. We'll see what that looks like this year, because I still don't really know. I do want to respect people in the bookstores that are shopping and just privacy to a certain extent, so I don't know, we'll see. Also, not that it matters, but I just got my hair cut. It will have been cut for a while by the time this is posted, but because of that, this side is doing the floaty thing. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna put on my shoes, I'm gonna grab my cup of coffee, and I'm going to head downstairs to meet Emily for our day. So I'm excited to bring you along, and let's see what we get up to and into for Indie Bookstore Day. Let's go. Okay, so here we are in the car. We have been to our first store. I did not get any video, but we did not linger. We did both get our first book, which is the same book. I was like, what book are you getting? And she said, The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi. And I said, that's the book I'm getting. However, when we walked in, the first thing we heard was that they did not have the passports. So we got a stamp on a bookmark, which is great. And the store was doing everything they could, but we kind of rolled our eyes a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, because there have been like these kind of inconsistencies in the past in the event. For instance, last year we had to reach out like twice by email before we got our discount card. And so I don't know if they ran out or if they just didn't get them. But this store, because we went to Honor Bridge first, which is one of our favorite stores and we love it, but they were one of the first of the stores to open for this challenge. We heard in line before us at least 3 or 4 to 5 people having the same thing. They were all doing the crawl, and none of us got passports officially yet. So maybe we'll get a passport. We'll see. We're off to a great start though. So let's keep it going, I guess. Do you have anything to say?
That's about it. That covers it.
Hi, it's Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily.
Emily actually exists.
I do, in real life.
So at least we have that going for us. All right, well, we're gonna keep it moving because we got a strict schedule, and I am putting a wrench in it, although we did not spend nearly our half an hour there, I think because we were both a little annoyed. And a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because we counted travel time.
We did.
We did not anticipate parking time.
A little, but not as much as
I think we're
should
gonna be
have.
okay. We also have a farmer's market going on across the street.
Yep.
So that impacts things. But where are we going next?
3 Avenues.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so we're going to a completely new store for us. Maybe they will have some passports. If not, they'll get a pass because they're completely new. And let's go support a brand new business. This is proof that we really are in Chicago.
Rainbow flags and construction. Hashtag Chicago.
Chicago. Or at least this part of Chicago.
Yep.
Boys Town, the rebranded North Halstead. Whatever you choose to believe in your heart.
Boys Town.
Boys Town.
Yeah.
We have story time again today.
Within the space of like 5 minutes, lost my bookmark from On a Bridge in there, but they found it, put it aside, were also worried for me, and made sure to staple it in my passport. Also, I got these cute little stickers and pencils, and this isn't really a productive way to show them, but they're cute, and Emily got Hellbent. So we accomplished a lot. I loved that store. It's really cute.
It's very cute.
I can't wait to go back. It was hopping. There are a lot of people out and about doing the passports, and there are a lot of people that had the same problem. We had it unabridged because it was one of the first stores to open, and everybody knows how to make a plan. So we're gonna keep it rolling, and we've got good energy going, and maybe a little frantic energy, but what's new? Okay, so we just left Roscoe Books. It was hopping. Like, it's already a very small space, but well curated. So I didn't take any video because there were a lot of people there, and that is rude. I mean, no judgment, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that because I am awkward. And I grabbed a copy of Lincoln in the Bardo because I only have an arc of this, which I have read multiple times, and I have been itching for a reread. It is a comfort book. I go back to it, or especially certain passages when I just need a pick-me-up or a reflection, and that arc is not going to hold out forever. So we have an actual copy now. So excited about that, and we are headed to Bookseller next?
Bookseller, yeah.
Bookseller next. So let's go. We have entered the rain portion of today. So we're supposed to have rain for a couple hours, I think, like early afternoon. And we are actually planning to be out past early afternoon. So we will see how long this lasts. But for now, knock on wood, it looks like it's a lighter rain than it was in 2019. So I have hope. We'll see. On our way to the bookseller still. So now it's lunchtime.
Hello.
What are we doing for lunch, Emily?
We're at McDonald's, eating nuggets in the car.
We're in the parking lot.
Yep.
Gonna eat. I was just looking at myself drinking my pop. That's weird, isn't it? Yeah, so we both got chicken nuggets.
Yep.
Because we are classy adults.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna enjoy our chicken nuggets.
Yep.
We've been to 4 stores. It's going well. It started to rain. We took a store to get our passport, as previously discussed. It's an adventure all around, but we got Garrett's at the bookseller.
It was awesome.
We got to snack on Garrett's while shopping, which honestly, as I was eating it in the stacks, I felt a little guilty
It was a
about.
little greasy.
I couldn't touch the books.
Yep.
But I still bought one, so
Same.
I'm going to shut up so we can eat our nuggets before they get cold.
Hooray.
So in a very on-brand move, we have scheduled the majority of the walking portion of today for the heaviest rain time. So we are parking, and we're going to go walk to 3 different stores that are all on Clark or along Clark. You know the drill. And it is indeed raining, so we're going to see how this goes, but more books. Okay, so we're on store, was that store 8?
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Skunk Cabbage, we just went to. It's new this year. I think they just said they just opened as well.
They just opened.
So that's like the 3rd store we've gone to, because 3 Avenues, that's really rude of me, but that's
3 Avenues.
3 Avenues,
Yes.
which we loved. Understudy, which we loved.
Yeah.
And now Skunk Cabbage, which was really cute. I really liked that space. And it had a much wider selection than I thought. I thought it was going to be a lot more focused on gardening stuff, because what did we get with purchase?
And we got a plant, native plant, a lobelia.
I don't know what that means.
It's a flower.
Are you going to plant it in the yard?
Yeah.
Okay, which is why I did not take the plant. I will just kill things in my apartment, but I'm very excited because...
Let's see if I can keep it alive. I am, doing some gardening outside.
And also, you can keep plants alive.
I can.
She's really good at it, in fact. I am not. So we're not going to even talk about the time that I'm mourning currently. But, okay, so we're at like 7 or 8 out of 15 down. we are gonna see how we keep going. It seems like there are still more people that have been on the crawls, it feels like.
I think so, yeah.
So let's see what this side of the city is looking like in terms of how busy it is with the crawl. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on. Okay, quick check-in with some good news, bad news. Good news, the sun came out. Good news, both of us found books at City Lit that we had not found, and we're starting to lose a little bit of hope that we were gonna find. Bad news, we did basically confirm our suspicions that we are not gonna get pins because they are going to run out like they did the passports. Which I both understand because it seems like there was a bigger turnout than anticipated, and I'm also admittedly pretty frustrated by, and I don't want to show that to the workers or the owner, you know what I mean, the people working the event, because it's not their fault. But at the same time, we didn't need pins.
Yeah, no.
Like, and I mentioned this before, because I think I saw this before, I don't want to have to pull out a pin to show for a discount.
No.
I will put a card in a wallet, and it was hard enough keeping track of the card switching wallets.
I'll lose a pin, to be totally honest.
I just, like, I know, I'm assuming because Independent Bookstore Day as, like, an event wasn't doing tote bags this year, I assume that they, like, wanted something a little bit more substantial for participants, which I appreciate and understand. But just from, like, a note-taking perspective, from, like, hiccups of an event and event planning for something of this scale and nature, which I appreciate is a large scale. I'm not undermining,
Yeah.
whatever, that by any means. I feel like I'm being too negative. But also I've spent a lot of money on books, so I'm not mad by any means.
Right.
But it's just like, we're gonna go to so many stores and we're definitely not gonna get a pen.
No.
But if we're pleasantly surprised, I'll be pleasantly surprised. And we are on track. If I don't keep talking and rambling about nothing, we're ahead of schedule. So I'm gonna shut up so we can continue to be ahead of schedule. And I'm not allowed to buy a book at the next store.
I am.
Emily is. She's been real good.
I have.
I haven't. We'll assess that later. But for now, we're going to Open Books?
Open Books.
Open Books. The new one, I think.
I'm not sure.
I think it's new.
Okay.
I think it's new. We'll report back. We're going to all the new stores. We're really hippin' with it. I am the most hippin' with it person you've ever met, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We did 10!
We did it!
We did 10. It was kind of anticlimactic because we needed to park in a 15-minute parking zone. And then it was the most hoppin' place
The line was so long.
we've seen today. They got through it very quickly, and we stood in line even though I don't know that we needed to get our sticker.
Nah.
But we wanted to respect the people that were spending money because that's the point of today.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have much time to browse because we were, on the go and we have the 15-minute limit. But, sorry. Oh, it's just, I was like, what's going on?
Oh my God. Sorry.
But it's the new Open Book. So we'd been to the other Open Books in 2019.
Yeah.
And so it's a very similar vibe, which I was pretty impressed with because it's obviously a much different space. Are they going to fit? No. They decided...
They're gonna try.
Oh, they are gonna?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone's trying to parallel park right in front of us. It doesn't seem like the wisest option, but they're going for it.
Yep.
So if we needed you for insurance purposes, it wouldn't be the first time.
It would not.
Oh, they might do it, yeah.
I think they're gonna do all right, yeah.
All right, well, they're fine. And we are off to whatever our next store is. So we were 10...
Volumes.
Volumes!
Yay.
Oh, yeah, and we haven't been back to Volumes since they reopened.
Yeah.
Their, is it Logan Square location?
Logan, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not great at blue line neighborhoods. Sorry. That probably is more than we needed to acknowledge about where... It's eliminated a bunch of the city from the map for me, but oh well. Anyway, all right, Volumes.
Let's do it.
Volumes,
Yay.
yay! So we just went to Volumes, which was hopping, and they have this really cool, I'll insert a picture of it, hopefully, neon sign that I loved, but more importantly, they still had these t-shirts. So we just left store 13. And we learned that these poor store owners people on this committee, what have you, have put together like a spreadsheet. Is that what you overheard? We were eavesdropping. Well, you know, I wasn't paying attention. So this is all secondhand twice for me. But for everyone that has reached however many stores so that they can just be looked up, which I think is super smart thinking on the fly, especially because like today is one of their busiest days of the year around counting Christmas, outside of Christmas, I would say. So I can only imagine how stressful today has been for everyone at these stores, and they are doing an amazing job. These booksellers are amazing, and they are so welcoming. The environment is fun. Everyone's having a great time. We're having a great time.
Yeah.
Even though I need some caffeine soon. But we only have 2 stores left, so caffeine is going to have to wait. I think we could probably do like a celebratory dinner.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
I'm definitely pressuring Emily into this.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm hungry.
In this moment. So I think we're going to get our steps in today, though, despite the fact that we are driving.
Absolutely.
I am still baffled logistically by the people. Some people have finished this so quickly, as previously discussed. And I am in awe of them. I just don't understand how they move so quickly. But good for them. So we've got 2 more stores. We'll see how it's going, and we're almost there. But it's been such a good day. So many of these stores, you can tell, are doing such great business, and it is so good to see. It's so good to see so many people out supporting these stores. There have been lines at checkout of people with books at these stores. So while it's absolutely okay to just go and get your book stamped, and we've absolutely done that at some stores ourselves, people are buying, which is the goal. So I think it's going well. I don't know. I'm getting sleepy, but we're getting there, and we'll get our second wind soon. To be fair, I'm a 32-year-old woman who often still naps, and I'm really trying to break that habit. So you're learning more about me than you probably should today, I guess. So Emily had a great point about how the stock at the stores. What was your point?
Yeah, I was saying that a lot of the stores are really picked over, which means a lot of people have been shopping and buying a lot of things today, which is awesome.
Which is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just drove over one of the bridges, which I was like, I should really be aware of my surroundings. That would have been a nice shot. But more importantly, it's the muscle memory of the last time we drove this way. Because remember when I said in 2019 we failed by 1 store? We were downtown, and we are on our way to San Myers, which is in the Printers Row area. So it's also the bookstore that we stop in during Printers Row Lit Fest. And it was, I think, our last store. I think so, in 2019, because the other store we were gonna go to was in another building connected to a university, maybe? I don't remember. It's been a while. We've had a pandemic in the middle. But they had just closed by the time we got there. So knock on wood, that will not be happening today because we are going to San Myers and then afterwards.
Yeah.
Which I was telling Emily, I saw someone post their schedule on Instagram a couple days ago because a bookstore reposted it, and I was like, oh, that feels like privileged information. They're giving away all their secrets. So I realized I can tell you the order of the stores, and I will probably put the order in the stores we went to somewhere at some point, because gosh knows, I hope you haven't been able to follow this coherently, because it hasn't felt very coherent. But we're having a great time, and that's all that matters, so deal with it, I guess. Guess what?
We did it!
We did it! Woo! And as much shit, a little bit, I haven't meant to talk shit, but it feels like I have been, that I've been talking today. Guess what we got?
We got the pin!
The pin! My face probably looked real weird there. I apologize. But look, it's got, there, you can see the little 15 on there. I think they were out of 10s. So it was dicey. And we were downtown, and it didn't seem like a lot of people were ending downtown.
No.
And who knows how many 15s they had left after us.
Yeah.
They probably got to.
Probably.
But we got them.
We did it.
And we got on a list.
Yeah.
For like probably the actual record keeping of everything.
Yeah.
But as much as I said I don't need a pen, I'm very pleased to have it.
Yep.
Let me tell you. And they let us keep our books. So
Yay.
we have all of the
All of our stamps.
Stamps. So we did it!
Yay!
And I didn't even spend as much money as I thought I was going to.
I know.
I spent more than I should.
Yeah.
But when don't I?
Right.
On Independent Bookstore Day. Anyway, so now we're gonna go have a celebratory dinner.
Yep.
We don't know what that is yet.
Nope.
But we're probably gonna get out of downtown.
Yes.
So we're gonna do that now. But we did it!
Yay!
What a fun day!
It was great.
And we'll show some more hauls
Yep.
at some point. Okay, here we are in the car again. We have faded fast and decided not to get a celebratory dinner. We will save that for another time. But we have decided before we go, or before I go, I guess, to walk you through our hauls. And in a surprise twist of events, we ended up getting the exact same number of books
Yep.
and the same number of hardcovers, I think.
Yep.
Which is kind of shocking.
I know.
Because we were going at vastly different paces at first. I was
Yeah.
like full speed ahead at first.
And I picked up at the end.
And you picked up at the end.
Yep.
So we met each other in the middle.
We did.
So we're gonna go through Emily's books real quick.
Yep.
Then we'll go through my books real quick. And then we will have conquered Independent Bookstore Day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so my books, I got Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I got Sister Song by Lucy Holland. Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo, the second in the series. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, I believe. Hellbent, another Lee Bardugo. And I'm very excited about Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty.
Okay, future jump cut because I accidentally corrupted the file of the clip of me going through what I grabbed on Indie Bookstore Day, but this is a great opportunity also to do a kind of retrospective because everything was a little chaotic in the moment of Indie Bookstore Day, as you just clearly saw. And so since then, we've been getting some reports from indie bookstores, or at least I have been getting emails for the stores that I am on their mailing list, or I've been seeing Instagram posts and celebrations, and multiple stores let us know that Indie Bookstore Day this year was their best sales day. It was breaking sales records for these stores that have usually been set by things like Indie Bookstore Day, though I think like places like Roscoe Books, I believe in the past some of those records have been set by their member discount days where they give 20% off to their members of the store, things like that. So it was a very, very big day. And that led to some of the growing pains in terms of number of passports and number of pins, things like that. I have since seen in an email sent out by Volumes Books, whose t-shirt I'm wearing, though the Volumes part is clear down here, that the turnout this year for the 2023 Indie Bookstore Day crawl was 3 times as much as the 2019 numbers. And by nature of math, of course, 2019 was before 2020. So as busy as last year was, this year was even busier. And for that reason alone, I am really glad they did the passports over the social media pictures of last year because there was a lot of rough edges with that. And I just don't think it would have been viable for them in terms of keeping track of everything this year if there was that much turnout, which there was. And so we, of course, did eventually get our passports, and I really love these. I honestly probably hold on to these long past the time I should because it does feel like a physical kind of accomplishment. It gives us a way to kind of track all the stores we've been to, and often a lot of the stores, I know I've showed you bits and pieces of it throughout the day video, but it, you know, helps you track. It feels like a little reward, and there is that positive kind of reinforcement there. So I do really enjoy the passport, was glad I got it. And all of the stores were so accommodating and really did have everything running incredibly smoothly, not only just, you know, from a normal shopping perspective, but now with this added layer of knowing just how drastic the increase in turnout was. And like Emily specifically said, it was very obvious that a lot of the stores were picked over. I'm kind of kicking myself for not getting any shots in Sandmeyer's of how picked over they were, because that was the kind of most visually evident, because by the time we'd gotten there, it was later in the day and they were kind of like frantically, except like not frantic energy, but they were working on like getting orders for new books in, and they were saying, we don't know if we're gonna have books to sell to people tomorrow. I mean, they still had books, clearly, but they had been well shopped, and having been in that store multiple times, it was very evident. But even if you hadn't been, there was so much empty shelf space. So it was great to see the turnout also translate into sales for the stores and to see everyone so excited. And I have been back to a couple of the stores since Indie Bookstore Day. I have already used my 15% discount. I've also received a survey since then, which was kind of a basic rundown of my Indie Bookstore Day in terms of like how many stores did I go to, etc. It wasn't so much like a feedback form, but I don't think they really need participant feedback in terms of the experience itself, because I think that all of the booksellers are very aware of the pain points of the event that were simply due to unexpectedly high turnout. And knowing how well they navigated that is incredibly impressive and really solidifies just how stellar our indie bookstore scene in Chicago is. I am constantly grateful that I live in such a vibrant literary community, and it was also great to be able to see so many other people out celebrating our bookstores and to see multiple people out and about again throughout the day. It was just a whole lot of fun. So with that kind of in the rearview mirror for us, let's talk about what I personally picked up. And admittedly, this was a more restrained haul for me because I was, trying to be good with my financial circumstances in mind. I tend to, in a perfect world for me financially, buy a lot of hardcovers on Indie Bookstore Day. Now, this may work out in my favor in some ways because now I have that 15% off discount for the rest of the year to use on hardcovers down the line, but it is what it is. There were just definitely some books, specifically hardcovers, I would have picked up if the circumstances for me personally had been a little different. However, I still picked up tons of great books I'm excited about. I think there was only one book on my kind of loose I want list that I didn't manage to grab, and that was the new Hester Fox. I actually saw a woman with it at the bookseller, and it looked like she was putting it back. So I asked her where she'd found it, and she told me where she got it, but she was like, oh, but this was the only one, I think. And I was kind of debating if I wanted it or not, but now I think I do. And I quickly backtracked and gave her lots of positive reinforcement in terms of buying the book because I wanted her to enjoy it. In that I was like, I haven't read it, but it looks good. I'm really interested in it. I think you should give it a shot. Mostly because I haven't read it, and if she didn't end up liking it, she'd be cursing that girl at the bookstore. But it was just a great day, and I think that is kind of part of the perfect illustration of it, in that we were all kind of just celebrating and encouraging each other in the reading and letting people know, oh, I really liked that book. And it was just a busy, friendly atmosphere. It was definitely more likely to start conversations with other readers in the stores because of that atmosphere. Just a great time. So I did not get that book, but I think that was one of the only, or maybe the only main one that I had been kind of keeping my eye out for and looking in each store and just wasn't able to get my hands on. But I did grab a lot of great things, including the paperback release of Nightcrawling by Layla Motley. Now, I've been hearing good things of this in the sense that it's always been kind of in the periphery for me since it came out, but I haven't heard a whole lot of buzz specifically from readers in online spaces about it. Again, that is on me because I know people are talking about this book, but it looks great. It's clear that this is one of the big paperback releases of the spring, and so I definitely want to read it. And additionally, I picked this up at the bookseller, which was doing my favorite promotion of the year. It wasn't listed on the Shy Love Books, which I still have trouble saying that hashtag out loud. However, they do a dry year discount promotion for a lot of their big shopping days. Primarily Indie Bookstore Day and Small Business Saturday are when I have seen it. And so what did I pull? I think I pulled 25% off this time. So that was a sweet deal, and definitely, especially if you're in Chicago, a promotion to keep your eye out for, especially next Indie Bookstore Day. And then I went ahead, and I mentioned this already, but I grabbed a paperback of Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders because I love this book. I stumbled on it kind of by happenstance at BEA 2016, and I didn't really know what I was getting into here because I, at that time, had not read any of George Saunders's short stories. And I admittedly don't even remember if I knew what this book was about. I knew it had a long line at BEA to see George Saunders to get an arc, and I knew by the time I got in the line that it was historical fiction of some kind. I don't remember if I knew that there was a weird angle to it. I just knew it was a very popular short story author with his first novel. And so this is the best surprise discovery I have made maybe ever. I love this book. I don't know if I talk about it here as much as I talk about it in real life. I worked really hard to get one of my bartenders to read this book. I don't know if he ever did, but you know, I did my due diligence. I know he at least bought a copy, and I just love this book. And I've been contemplating getting another copy for a while just to have one to reread, because my ARC, like I said before, is not going to hold up forever and holds a lot of sentimental value for me. So I'm going to protect that. And this copy, maybe I could even annotate it. I don't know. There are a lot of options, but I'm glad to have it so that I have those options. And then I went ahead and grabbed A Manual for How to Love Us by Aaron Slaughter. I had been eyeing this one for a bit prior to Indie Bookstore Day. I almost impulse bought this at Women and Children First a couple of weeks prior. However, the paperback is $18.99, which is a lot for a paperback and more than I could justify on a random Tuesday while unemployed. However, I could justify it on Indie Bookstore Day. I also had an inkling and a hope that financial circumstances would be on the up and up, so I grabbed this collection of short stories. And then I grabbed one of my 2 hardcovers, which was Flux by Jin-Woo Chang. I grabbed this and I debated it, but I had checked this out from the library and it was so popular, I just didn't get it read in time and it was due back. I couldn't renew it, but I know I want to read it. So I grabbed it. The debate came in that somehow I don't think I had cracked it open at all, or at least read the first sentence when I had it out from the library, which, you know, we're not going to judge ourselves too harshly for that because it didn't hurt anybody. However, the first page opens up with second person, and I historically do not enjoy second person. However, I also historically enjoy narratives that play with form and are inventive, a little weird, and take risks. And this is playing, I believe, with time, but don't quote me on that. And so it has 3 protagonists, and I've seen this work for me before where you had like 3 characters and each character had a different POV. So one was in first, one was in second, one was in third, and that actually really worked for me. So I'm hoping that this will be similar. I'm also admittedly hoping that this will be like a more successful version of Dark Matter for me personally as a reader, and that is probably one of the more controversial things that I will say. And then I went ahead and grabbed also The Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill by Rowena Miller. We have talked about this in we've talked about a lot of these books, right, in previews for the month. So this in theory has a fairy angle to it. I have a bunch of specifically 2023 releases that involve the fae or fairy that I haven't talked about yet. I know, because I have talked about a decent number already, that I am contemplating like reading. I'm trying to figure out how to do it for maybe even like a video. My concern is I am going to have less reading time again here now. So let me know if that is actually of interest, and we'll try to get that going. But I personally have always enjoyed books about the fae across the spectrum, and based on how many are coming out, I know that I am not alone. So just let me know. And then we went to the understudy, as you saw, as I mentioned as well, which means I bought a play, because of course. Now, before I show this, this is also going to demonstrate how bad I have been at being a part of the theater community recently, because I picked this up and I was like, wow, The Nether by Jennifer Haley sounds like a really interesting exploration of the online on stage, which is something I'm really interested in. I admittedly, as you know, just kind of evidenced, have not been reading as much as I should. So that is not to say that it doesn't exist. Personally, the play I've seen this the most successful in is Water by the Spoonful, and that is not new anymore. So in theory, there have been a lot of plays about online spaces and ways to personify the online on stage since then. You might be saying, Melody, what is the guilt there? Which fair? However, when I read the little placard, because this was on a staff recs table, and their staff recs there are amazing and really fun. And I just love the way that plays are discussed via staff recs there. I think it really enters a conversation, and it's a conversation about the writing of the play and also the work, because this staff rec talked about having seen it at a Red Orchid Theater and it's sitting with them since then. To which I said, shoot, I could have seen this. It's been produced in the city, and not just produced in the city, but produced by a theater that I have friends that work at. So sorry, Kyle, but it gets worse. I looked up the production because it sounded familiar. I was like, why is this scratching my brain so specifically? It's because one of my former professors directed it. So yeah. But that also made sense to me because when I was reading the blurb of it, it made me think of the play The Pillow Man by Martin McDonagh. Yes, that Martin McDonagh. But this was my first introduction to Martin McDonagh, and this play is dark and twisted and weird and a little bit more experimental than I believe. Granted, I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but there are opportunities that the stage offers that this takes. Now, this is exploring specifically fairy tales, not online spaces, but the setup felt like a similar kind of mood to me and felt like they might be moving in similar spaces and similar explorations and similar darkness. So I will report back if that is true and report back about how much I regret not seeing the production, because I'm already regretting it, so it will inevitably probably just get worse. So to my friends, that is me calling myself out first. And then of course, as we all saw, I got The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This was the first book I was on the hunt for, specifically because at Unabridged, I knew last year they did 10% off for Indie Bookstore Day. I got a lot of books there last year. I regretted not being in the position where I could justify getting a lot of books there this year. So I went straight to this book. Emily also went straight to this book. And part of the reason we didn't spend as much time there, in addition to just being kind of flustered, is that we had the book we wanted. We knew their selection was amazing. I took one glance at the new releases bay and I was like, I'm going to get myself into trouble if I do not get out of this store. And if you are in Chicago and you haven't been to Unabridged, I would highly recommend it. Their new release bay in particular is one of the best I've seen in the city. And this is coming from someone who discovered them relatively recently. Last year was the first year I'd been there, and I have definitely been back since. So I have consistently kind of found new go-to bookstores every year on Indie Bookstore Day. In 2019, it was Roscoe Books. You know, we're gonna give 2020 and 2021 a pass. This year has multiple contenders. There were a lot of new bookstores this year, and that was also so exciting to see because, again, as vibrant as this community is, it is continuing to build up. We are continuing to get new stores. 3 Avenues in particular is really exciting because it is off Southport, which, if you have been with me for a second, and I do not expect you to have been, but I did a video years ago now at this point, I don't know, last year. Again, time is a meaningless construct, except, you know, there was a very specific time for this, but the Amazon bookstore off Southport closed. So that closed, and since then, 3 Avenues has opened. So in some way, it feels like we won, especially because as just, you know, a person going about their life, walking down the street, I saw a lot of families going into the Amazon bookstore, which makes sense. And I think that the 3 Avenues children's section in particular, I heard them talking about story times. I have browsed their children's selection and it looks really great. I discovered some really fun new books there and it looks welcoming. It looks like a place that you can spend some time with your kids and just hang out discovering new books. The space in and of itself feels that way. It's open, it's bright, it's got great title selection, and there are some chairs where you can sit and just kind of read for a second. So it just feels like a win, right? We've got this beautiful, vibrant store that feels like a community space that we can go to, and it feels like we are getting that across the board. So I just want us as consumers and readers to continue to help these stores to thrive because they definitely give back to us. So that was Indie Bookstore Day 2023. It is one of my absolute favorite days of the year. So now I just have to look forward to next year. But I would really love to hear about your Indie Bookstore Day, if you got out to a bookstore, and how your community, how your bookstore celebrated, what the atmosphere felt like, what you grabbed, what maybe promotions or events or what they had going on at the stores to celebrate and to bring people in and to create community or what have you. So thanks for hanging out and going on this adventure with me. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. I would admittedly appreciate the interaction right now because we are creeping closer and closer to that 1,000. So it's up to you. As always, no pressure. I don't love asking, but it's always appreciated if and when you do. So thanks for hanging out again. And with that, all you have left to do is to read something good. So yeah, bye.